Trump, RFK Jr., and their allies claim they want to end forever wars.
Together we're fighting to secure our borders, end the endless foreign wars.
Indeed, after 20 years of Afghanistan and Iraq, Americans are tired of forever war, which is what the Biden White House is creating right now.
As long as it takes.
Every time Ukraine seizes an opportunity, Biden holds Ukraine back, giving Russia
Biden
time to
continued
adapt.
To reject President Zelensky's request.
Now Russia is forging alliances with North Korean soldiers. The longer this war goes on, while Ukrainians bleed, the more the U.S. defense industry profits. As the world grows more dangerous, scared European countries buy more U.S. weapons. The Ukrainians themselves don't want a forever war, just as they don't want peace under tyranny. They want to defeat the Russian invaders. Ukrainians are among the freest people in the world, willing to fight for liberty. They are deeply skeptical of government. It's worth noting they have one of the lowest COVID vaccination rates in Europe. And yet, they're a healthy, resilient nation, with clean cities and abundant natural food. They embody everything Trump and RFK say they want. But instead, by attacking Ukraine, Trump and RFK are siding with Biden-Harris and the defense industry by letting Russia destroy a free people. Joe Rogan, Donald Trump, the podcast event of the year, October 25th. But wait, there's a new challenger stepping into the spotlight. Alexander Usyk, the undisputed world heavyweight champion. As Rogan prepares to go one-on-one with Trump, Usyk from Ukraine throws down the gauntlet with a tweet on X that echoes beyond the ring. A challenge not just for Rogan and Trump, but for every voice that champions freedom. Will Rogan step up to the plate? But here's the knockout question. Will you push Rogan to face Usyk's bold message? Share Usyk's post on X. Help the world see beyond rhetoric to reality. Why does Trump keep saying Ukraine is gone?
Ukraine is gone.
The answer slipped out at last week's Al Smith dinner, a famous gathering in New York, in which both presidential candidates usually speak. Trump said that just before his speech, he spoke with Ukrainian Christians. They told him about the destruction caused by Russia.
What's happening in Ukraine? Wow. I had a lot of people very religious people come up to me tonight from Ukraine, and they're asking me for help.
But in a bid to get the former president to care, it seems these Christian leaders neglected to tell the positive story. Ukraine holds on. In Kharkiv, just 30 miles from Russia, bombed-out buildings have already been rebuilt, and churches still flourish, holding on to their freedom.
Because this war is war against the demons.
Ukrainian churches are still more crowded than churches in many places around the world. Ukrainians are holding on and fighting for the very sort of freedom those who support Trump say they also want. In the face of Russia's hellfire, it's damn inspiring and encouraging how the Ukrainians keep on. Will Trump and others see not just the sadness, but also the strength of the Ukrainians?
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away. Drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is.
This country is broken, it's turning to rubble. If you don't like it, you better speak subtle. Cause these politicians, when they hear you rumble, they'll jump on TV and they'll burst your whole bubble.
The Kremlin still uses the KGB's reflexive control theory to manipulate narratives. February 2024. Headlines report the death of Russian Alexander Navalny, obscuring 2 years of Ukrainian resistance and the 10-year anniversary of the Maidan Revolution. At a U2 concert in Vegas,
Navalny.
people were chanting Navalny's name, even as Ukrainians were pointing our Navalny's anti-Ukraine statements. When a dead person's name is being chanted at a rock concert, opposing them publicly makes you look bad. Putin surely was smiling. Everyone, including Ukrainians, was talking about one dead Russian rather than millions of heroic Ukrainians. It's a sticky web, by design. American journalist Joe Lindsley, reporting daily from Ukraine on American radio, said, "Ukraine is a nation of Navalny's." This returned attention back to Ukraine. Navalny became less important, just an idea. But here's where Russian propaganda excels. Many Ukrainians were upset with Lindsley, rightly not wanting to be compared to Navalny. They forgot that it was about the broader concept, not the individual. 8 months later, American media is still under Navalny's sway. He, not Ukrainians, are on the cover of The New Yorker, something for the Kremlin to smile about. A Democratic member of Congress says that the U.S. government and its European allies are essentially funding both sides of Russia's war against Ukraine. How is this possible? Representative Lloyd Doggett, a Democratic congressman from Austin, Texas, along with 49 other U.S. representatives from both parties, allege that the Biden administration is enabling a Texas-based oil services firm to help Russia destroy Ukraine. Schlumberger, based in Houston, continues to send expertise and tech to Russia. According to the Financial Times, Schlumberger, now called SLB, has continued to expand operations in Russia, capitalizing on the withdrawal of Western competitors, despite international sanctions in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The bipartisan crew of 50 members of Congress are not happy. This U.S.-based company, they write, is keeping Vladimir Putin's war machine well-oiled with financing for the barbaric invasion of Ukraine. Will the Biden administration respond?
As long as it takes.
Who hates freedom? Of course, Moscow, Tehran, Beijing, and Pyongyang. But don't forget Berlin and Washington. None of them want Ukraine to win.
We cannot, we must not.
Russia bombards Ukraine with drones from Iran, with Beijing's nod, and now with soldiers from North Korea. Berlin, still thirsty for Russian oil, refuses to send its most powerful weapons.
Berlin will not supply Ukraine with long-range Taurus cruise missiles.
And the White House, while claiming to send billions, ties Ukraine's hands, weakening American support by not allowing Ukraine to strike back and win decisively.
We cannot, we must not.
Caught in the middle, Ukrainians are fighting the tyrants of the East, only to be restrained by the corrupt powers of the West. And in a cruel twist, the freedom-loving people of America are misled, turning their anger toward Ukraine, the one nation actually fighting for freedom. So, which side are you really on?
Which side are you on? Well, you told me you were drowning.
By refusing to let Ukraine strike back,
We cannot, we must not.
the Biden administration actually fuels opposition to Ukraine,
He walks away with $60 billion.
an opposition it then hides behind to justify its own cowardice. The Biden administration claims to spend billions on Ukraine.
It's all been a pack of lies.
But most of the actual expenditure goes to U.S. defense contractors, buying new weapons for America. And the Biden White House strangely chose to send long ago approved resources to Ukraine precisely when Americans are suffering from brutal hurricanes. The timing makes it look like Ukraine is the cause of American pain. No wonder Americans are frustrated. They think all this money is going to Ukraine and they don't see clear results.
As long as it takes.
Ukrainians are frustrated too. For decades, Washington has bullied Ukraine into giving up its best weapons.
I got them to agree to give up their nuclear weapons.
And now Washington even restricts other countries from helping Ukraine win. The White House's duplicity places the U.S. alongside Russia and Beijing as forces opposing true freedom, using Ukraine to hide its own greed and cowardice.
As long as it takes.
instead of genuinely supporting its stand for freedom. We invite you to follow our channel, the only American show reporting live from Ukraine every day.